50,000 people. Is it possible? Yes, 50,000 people. That's the number of people we want to help move abroad this year. And we know we can do it. In collaboration with Study Now, we are going from city to city, helping loads of people with opportunities to move abroad. And the best part of this is that it is totally free. So if you want to meet us one-on-one to help you with all the documents required, to help you with counseling, to help you with the process for admission from start to finish, all you need to do is check the caption of this video for the date, times, and venues. If you're in Ibadan, you're in Abuja, you're in Lagos, we're coming to the city very close to you. Don't just scroll the world, study there.
Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're coming from. My name is Theophilus Obidake, and I am the Destination Manager at Study Now. So it's a pleasure to have you all here today. And joining us from Gisma University of Applied Sciences is Messi Karani, the Business Development Manager for East and South Africa. Hi, Messi.
Hi, Theo, and hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Okay. So at Study Now, our mission is simple. We help aspiring students from across the globe to turn their dreams of studying abroad a reality. Today's session is designed to give everyone a deep insight into the benefits of studying in Germany and specifically the world-class opportunities available at Gisma University of Applied Sciences. And without further ado, I will hand over to Messi so she can take us through her presentation on why Gisma is the right choice for your career.
All right. Thank you so much, Theo. Thank you, everybody, for joining the session. In the call, I also have my colleague Alexander, who looks after the West African market. Alexander will be able to support me throughout the call, speaking about specifically West Africa. So if you're here from any part of the Sub-Saharan Africa, we got you covered. So Study Now, please, can I get the presentation? All right. So in my presentation today, I do not want to just dive directly into Gisma. Usually I want to, and I love to take students through Germany as a destination first, because as a student, when you're making a decision to study abroad, usually you start with the destination. So we'd like, in my presentation, we'll go through a few things of why you need to choose Germany as your study destination, and then Gisma as your school of choice in Germany. So on to the next slide, we'll start off with, okay, so all right, I think a slide is missing there, but on top of my mind, I can just go ahead and speak about Germany. So starting off, there are a few things that should encourage you to study in Germany. Starting off is the economy in Germany. Usually, one of the reasons why we as Africans are moving to study abroad is, of course, we're trying to look for good opportunities, better opportunities beyond what we have in our continent right now. And one of the reasons why you should choose Germany is that the economy is doing very, very well now. It's number 3 best performing economy right now after the US and China. It also is the biggest performing economy all of Europe. And why is the economy important? It's important because it means that there are very many job opportunities available. The other thing is, while Germany actually is doing so well in terms of economy, the population is very much more aged, which is unlike what we have in Africa. We tend to be a bit more towards the younger generation. The average age in Africa is actually between 19 to 21, but the average age in Germany is above 45. And why is that important to us? It just shows that, when you as a young person move to study abroad in Germany, and you get your German degree, then it is very possible for you to be to find employment, because some of the biggest employment drivers in Germany are actually looking for younger people. So we are looking at logistics, we are looking at the fields of finance, the fields of tech, and the fields of engineering. The other thing about Germany is that you are allowed to work part-time for up to 20 hours a week. Of course, this is very important to us. International students are always like, am I able to get a job? Can I sustain myself as I study? And yes, and the minimum wage is around 13 euros an hour. So if you do the math, working 20 hours a week, you end up making around 1,150 euros. And this is very important. This is a very important figure, because you also need to compare this with the cost of living in Germany. That takes me directly to what is the exact cost of living in Germany right now. So we are dealing with 11,904 euros a year. So monthly, it's around 934 euros. That means when you work part-time in Germany as a student, you're able to actually make more than what is the cost of living. So you can just calculate and see how important that number is. The other thing is the postgraduate pathways. So we have very many postgraduate pathways for students in Germany. So starting off is once you graduate, whether you are doing an undergraduate program or a postgraduate program, you qualify for an 18-month postgraduate work visa. And why is this postgraduate work visa important? It gives you a chance to look for work in Germany. In Germany, usually you need to find a job related to your course of study so that you can be able to apply for the work permit and eventually apply for the permanent residency. I hope that is clear, and that is very important so that you can be able to actually choose a course that is marketable, right? So when you're looking for the kind of programs you need to go after in Germany, you need to actually select programs that are in demand in the market. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Theo, do you have the presentation? I am not able to see the presentation. Okay, fine. So then I think right now I can just get right into why Gisma. So please remember to keep your questions in the chat box. We'll be able to have a Q&A at the end where we can respond to your inquiries. So once you've selected Germany, and you will see when we go through the programs and the pricing of our programs, you will see that another thing that comes up about Germany is that Germany is generally a very affordable study abroad destination. So if you're comparing it to destinations such as the UK, you're comparing it to Canada, Australia, it is way more affordable in terms of school fees and also cost of living. So that's another reason why students actually gravitate towards Germany. The other thing is now we do have fully English taught programs. For example, at Gisma, we fully teach in, oh, this is the slide I was looking for, but okay. So we fully teach in English at Gisma University. So if you do not have a German background, you do not have to worry about it, because you can just come on in and study the German language as you study. So then why should you choose Gisma over all the other universities in Germany? The first thing is our accreditations and honors that we have received as a university. Of course, studying abroad is a great investment, and you want to invest this to study a degree and in a university that is accredited, recognized by the state, and actually will be recognized for you across the world. So not everybody wants to stay back in Germany, but some of us want to, move to the UK, move to other parts in Europe, or even come back to Africa and apply for jobs. So you need to make sure that your degree actually makes sense in the different markets, and Gisma gives you exactly that. We do have, if you go to gisma.com website, there is an entire page that has all the accreditations that we have garnered over the years. So starting off, and the most prestigious one is the AMBA accreditation. So the AMBA accreditation is the Association of MBA Holders Accreditation. And this is an honor shared with basically less than 2% of business schools in the world. So if you're coming to GISMA to do your global MBA, then what that means is that your global MBA program is AMBA accredited, and you just join a very elite group of students across the world. The other one that we have is BGA accreditation. In full, it's called the Business Graduates Association accreditation. So this is also very, very important for students who are interested in taking any of our, business programs. So we have quite a number of business programs, and you will see that in our programs. The other one is CIM. CIM is very popular amongst those of us who are in the field of marketing. So CIM is the Chartered Institute of Marketing. We are actually the only German university that has a CIM accreditation for our marketing programs. So if you pursue the business marketing, business management in marketing, either in bachelor level or master's level, you are assured that it's CIM accredited, and therefore you get also a CIM accreditation. Another very prestigious title that we have is the BSIS Impact Label. So generally, we were awarded this label because in all of Berlin in the year of 2025, Gisma had the biggest number of startups. What does that show? It shows that our education is very entrepreneurial driven, and it shows that, other than just looking for employment, we have a big number of students. We actually had 15 startups generating over 100,000 plus euros in terms of profits in Berlin, and that is a very big win for a university. And startups are great, right? Startups are very great because they generate jobs very well, and they are very good in terms of, for example, if you don't have a big work experience, it's very easy to land a job in a startup. So that's another one. The other thing is that we are one of the most international German universities. Maybe you know this, but generally we have over 100 plus nationalities on campus. So when you're coming in, whether you're coming in from Kenya, whether you're coming in from Uganda, from South Africa, from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Cameroon, you will find somebody from home in our university. Other than that, we have people coming in from Asia, Southeast Asia, from Europe, the wider Europe, from America. So you create, you get to immerse in the different cultures. And this is very great because even in a class environment, when you're sharing ideas with each other, you get to really open up your mind to see the world in a different way. And not only are our students from over 100 plus nationalities, even our staff are also from all over the world, which is very intentional for us. The other thing is that, of course, all our classes are actually taught in English. So you do not need to worry about the language, which comes up a lot. How can I study in Germany if I don't have the German language? So you're able to, we fully teach all our classes in English, but we offer the German language classes on the side. Then something else is that to support our students to be able to find employment, we have a very active career department. And one of the things that they bring on board is that, we are partnering with some of the big companies and even the startups in Berlin and in Germany in general to make sure that our students are finding internships, they're finding long-term employment. We are always having career fairs on campus just to make sure that our students understand what exactly are employers looking for in Germany, and they are ready for the German job market. The other thing that is very, very important is our payment plans. And of course, this resonates a lot with students from Africa. Generally, you want to see, is the payment plan flexible? This mainly works for second year and third year for those of us who will be doing bachelor programs, because for you to be able to get and apply for your visa, you need to pay for the first year of school fees in full in most cases. So the Study Now visa team will be able to advise in each country. But when you get to your second and third year, Gisma actually offers you an installment plan of 6 to 10 installments. Look, this is amazing, because even if you get a part-time job, you can easily be able to pay this. And sometimes you can always respond to, email the finance team, let them know that your installment will be late, such things. Not encouraging it, but just letting you know that we have a very flexible and very understanding finance department. On to the next slide. Will you please go to the next slide, which is the alumni? Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. So this data is very important to everybody here, because as I mentioned before, in Germany, for you to stay back and get a work permit, which leads up to your permanent residency, you need to find a job that is related to your course of study. So 94% of our alumni have been able to find employment less than a year after graduation, right? And then we have 88% of them securing jobs even before they graduate. 77% of them are earning very high salaries, 55K to 60K, which if you do your research, this range qualifies you to what is called the EU Blue Card. So I'll give everybody a homework. Find research about the EU Blue Card and you'll understand how important it is. So this data is very important to us. It shows that other than just jobs, they're not just getting any kind of jobs, but some of them are holding managerial positions. Others are getting very high entry level salaries, and most of them are actually able to find employment before the end of the post-study work visa permit. Next slide. All right, so Gisma has two campuses. We have our main campus, our oldest campus, which is located in a city called Potsdam. Potsdam is still within the Brandenburg state. By Brandenburg state, I mean it's the state that also has Berlin in it. So what that means is that it's really not far from the city center. So depending on where you're coming from in Berlin, it can either take you between 45 minutes to 1.5 hours to get to Potsdam. So that means that you can still access the biggest city, but Potsdam is a very friendly student environment because it tends to be very, if you love nature, if you love calm areas, then Potsdam is a fantastic destination for you. So Potsdam is our master's students or master's programs destination. So just to be clear, all our masters, or rather most of our masters programs, are offered in Potsdam. We do not have any bachelor programs being offered in Potsdam. The bachelor programs are offered in our city campus, which is in the next slide, and it's definitely Berlin. I think in the why you should choose Gisma, I did not mention the importance of choosing big cities when you're coming into Germany. So because of the language barrier, it's important that you choose a big city like Berlin or Potsdam. Other cities are like Munich and so on, because then there is a high percentage of international people from all over the world, meaning that you can find a bigger percentage of people who can speak English. You can also find a bigger percentage of, or rather, there is variety in terms of maybe shops. If you're looking for, meals to make, there are many Indian supermarkets, African supermarkets. So the bigger the city, the more friendly it is for international students. So really, Gisma wins in that way because we are located in Berlin and Potsdam. Okay, so right, next slide, it's okay. Then what programs do we offer? So I am going to just focus on two types of programs because that's generally what we have. in the bachelor level, we have programs in business and tech. Okay, so business and tech only. So under business, we have a variety of programs. So we have management, we have human resources, entrepreneurship, finance, and such like programs. In tech, we have AI, which is doing very well. So if you're looking at programs in artificial intelligence, we have that. If you're looking at programs in directly or pure software engineering, we also have that. If you're looking for computer science, we have that. We also have cybersecurity. So these are the kind of programs we have in our bachelor level. And that's the same thing we have in our master's level. Even our master's, we purely focus on business and tech. So if you're looking for programs outside of business and tech, maybe for now, Gisma is really not your school. But the reason why we focus on business and tech, and I can tell you this, is that we really focus on programs that give direct career outcomes in Germany. So generally, most of our programs are also the most in-demand programs in the market. And top of my mind, I can list maybe 5. We have supply chain and logistics being one of the most marketable programs now. We have anything in tech, so computer science, software engineering, data science, AI, also very, very marketable. We have international business management, because as much as we have all these startups, most of them are tech startups, but they do need business experts, and that means they also need finance experts. So we have finance as well as a very, very marketable program under our portfolio. We can go to the next slide, which I think is school fees. Other than that, there is another slide. Oh, sorry. I think let me also highlight a partnership that we have with the UK university. You possibly have all heard about Kingston University. It's a TEF Gold University, Triple Crown University, a very reputable business school in the UK. So what we are doing at Gisma is that we partnered with Kingston to offer double degrees. We are actually the only university in Germany that can provide you 2 degrees at the same time, you know. So you're able to do international business management, which is awarded by Kingston. Remember, you're doing these in Germany and Gisma's campuses, and you can choose a second degree from our portfolio. So one of my best combinations is usually Bachelor's of Data Science, AI and Digital Business. And then you do the second degree from Kingston, which is International Business Management. So that is one of the most popular programs, popular combinations that you can do. The pricing for these is still the same as the pricing for our single programs. So those of us who would love, you know, to have a UK degree and also a German degree, when you graduate, you get both. So this is a fantastic program for you. And the same applies for masters. You can actually choose to do 2 masters at once. You can either do any of our specializations, for example, finance, and then do international business management awarded by Kingston in the UK. So this is a unique offering that we have at Gisma, and I'd encourage you to consider pursuing those programs. Okay, thank you so much. I know the most important thing about the choice of a study abroad in a university is usually the pricing. What are the scholarships available? What are the discounts available? If I count the number of times I've been asked this question, I think my head will grow big. But really, as you can see, we are very straightforward. All our bachelor programs cost the same. So whether you're doing a computer science, software engineering, management, you're doing finance, the price per year is 13,825 euros. Okay, so that is the base price. For bachelor students who are here looking for bachelors, you need to know that we do have discounts and scholarships. So if you apply to Gisma, the intakes that are coming up in July and October, because our intakes are all over the year, we have 4 intakes in January, April, July, and October. You qualify for an up to 50% high achiever scholarship. The reason why it's called high achiever is because the higher your grade, the higher the scholarship. All right. So for example, if you're coming in from Kenya and you got a straight A in your KCSE, you will automatically get a 50%. So we use your percentage points to award the scholarship. However, we have a minimum scholarship of 15%. So generally, all our students get a discount or a scholarship between 15 to 50 for bachelor programs. So at least if you pay the student that's paying the most, you pay 11,751, and scholarships increase depending on your grade. Then we can go to our next slide, which is masters. So I know that we have a lot of masters students. I can already see that on the comments. So are you looking to pursue a global MBA program? The price is 22,500 euros. At this point, I can mention that the global MBA program is an only 1-year program, and it's also available across all our intakes. So the Jan to October intakes, and the campus is Potsdam. For our other master's programs, other than the global MBA program, you can choose to either do a 1-year master's, which is 60 ECTs, or sorry about that, you can do a 2-year master's, which is 120 ECTs. So this really depends on what you'd like, because a 1-year master's is a very common pathway across Europe. However, I do meet a lot of students across the region who are like, I just graduated, I don't have any work experience. I think the 2-year option is best for me. And I think that's totally fine. And in most cases, you'll see most of us who have 5 years experience, 6 years experience will then gravitate more towards the 1-year masters. It's also totally fine. We do have those two options. You can see the pricing for the 1-year masters is 16,250 euros for the entire program. And we do have 25,100 for the entire 2 years. So per year, it goes around 13,000 euros per year. So you can also maybe use that to choose which program you would like to pursue. I do not want to focus a lot on the pre-masters because you cannot apply for a pre-masters. The pre-masters is given by our admissions team based on your GPA. If your GPA is too low for direct entry into a master's program, some cases, also depending on maybe your work experience, your background, the admissions team will possibly give you an offer with a pre-masters. So pre-masters cannot be predetermined. This is something we usually provide to our students on case-by-case basis. And then in terms of discounts for masters, we do not have any high achiever scholarship like we did in the bachelor level. What we have is discounts, tuition fee discounts. So we have a minimum discount. So every student gets a 15% discount. But if you'd like to get the highest percentage discount, which is the 30% for all our master's programs, you need to pay your entire fee before enrollment. So for masters, what we have is tuition fee discounts ranging between 15% to 30%. So once you submit your application through Study Now, one of the documents that you get is a payment plan document that actually shows you the different payment plans that you have and the different discounts that you will get. Now, something that I was almost about to forget is that if you apply for any of our masters in tech, so we have a masters in data science, masters in software engineering, masters in computer science, masters in leadership for digital transformation. Those programs, you're going to be getting an additional 1,000 euros off. So this is a digital scholarship we are adding on top of the discount. So it really does go a long way. 1,000 euros is quite a bit of money. So you also get that percentage of if you pursue any of our masters in tech programs. Okay, so entry requirements, I will briefly just speak about mainly East Africa here, and then my colleague Alexander will speak about entry requirements for West Africa. Then I will take it over from there. So East Africa, if you're coming in from KCSE curriculum, you need a KCSE C plus and above. That is Kenya. You need KCSE C plus and above. And even if you have C plus and above, you still need to either take foundation for one semester or take the entrance test. My advice to all students coming in either from Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania is that you should actually take the test because 97% of our students pass the test. It's generally a very easy test, in my opinion. It's based on high school, maybe year 2 high school. So it's not that difficult and you're able to pass the test. The test is usually math, grammar, and writing. So if you get 50% of the test, then you will qualify for direct entry into year 1. If you do not pass the test, say you fail math or you fail English, then you will have to start with foundation. That means that your program will not only be 3 years, it will be 3.5 years. Okay? Then for those of us who are coming from Uganda as well, you also need to have passes. Then the other thing, generally British curriculum, which I know cuts across the various regions, east, south, and west. We do not accept O levels. We only consider year 13 A levels, and you need to have gotten a minimum of 3 C's in your 3 subjects at A levels. If you have 1 D, you can be considered for the double degree with Kingston 1-year foundation. So 3 C's, but we consider students with only 1 D, so CCD for foundation. Then if you're doing IB as well, minimum is 24 points. And at this point, we'll also speak about English requirements for East Africa and South Africa. We test English regardless of the curriculum, unless you're coming from Cambridge, American, or IB. If you're coming from any of our local curriculums like Kenya, you will need to take the English test. We do have our own free English test, but if you take the admissions test that I had mentioned before, then no need for any additional test. For masters, the entry requirements are a bit more straightforward. So we need a second class upper division for direct entry. If you have a second class lower division, then in most cases you will be given pre-masters, depending also on your work experience. So make sure when you're submitting your application, you're also submitting a very well detailed CV because it determines whether we give you direct entry or we give you pre-masters. And for English, if you're looking at IELTS, for masters, we need a minimum of 6.0 and no band less than 5.5 for IELTS, but you can also take our Gisma English test, which is available free of charge. Then for global MBA, we have very separate entry requirements. Please listen to this. We need 3 years of work experience, and internship is not considered work experience. So make sure that you have 3 years work experience and your IELTS is not 6.0, but 6.5. Part of our entry requirements for our MBA is also the MBA interview that we usually do. It's just an aptitude test where you meet one of our lecturers and you just get to have a conversation with them as part of your enrollment process. So I think, Alexander, you can highlight just briefly the requirements for West Africa. Over to you, Alexander.
All right, thank you, Mercy. So for students coming from West Africa, that is our students coming from Ghana, Nigeria. So I'll start with Ghana and Nigeria because we have fairly similar curriculum. So if the student is a WAEC student, that is you wrote the WAEC exams, we accept no less than a C6 in your results for a bachelor's degree. So especially we pay close attention to mathematics, English language, and science. The students should have not less than a C6 in these 3 subjects. So that is the students who are coming in for our bachelor's program. So from our students in Cameroon, we accept the GCEs too as well. So the GCEs, you must have no less than C in your GCE A levels. You must have no less than a grade C in your GCE A levels. But there's a distinction here for our Cameroonian students. So if you are coming in for a tech-related program, you must have mathematics, you must have science in your advanced level. Have mathematics and science in your advanced level. But if you're coming in for a management related program, that is business management, marketing, finance, HR, entrepreneurship, we will accept mathematics. But in place of mathematics, if the student is having economics, it's also accepted in place of mathematics. If the student is having a pass in economics, it's also accepted in place of mathematics. So for our students coming from Nigeria, Ghana, not less than C6 if you're coming in for a bachelor's degree. For the students coming for the master's degree, just like Mercy said, it's fairly the same as the student coming from the East and South Africa. We accept second class upper. I can see someone asking in the comment section if we accept a third class. So if you have a third class with very good work experience, we can give you a pre-master's offer. That is, if you have a third class with very good work experience. See, I've seen scenarios where the students had a third class, but very good, verifiable work experience. The student was able to get a direct entry without a pre-masters. So like Mercy said, the pre-masters is on a case-by-case basis. You just have to give a very detailed CV. And most of the time, you are also going to request a job reference letter from your employer to also validate the details that we have in your CV. And we can get you a straight masters. But we do accept third class. That I can confirm if you have very good HND. Someone is saying, if HND students can apply for direct MSc, unfortunately, no. Germany does not accept HND. Germany does not see HND as a full degree. Germany considers HND to be a vocational education. So it is not regarded as a full degree in Germany. So unfortunately, no, HND holders cannot get a straight master's in Germany. So in terms of masters, first class, second class upper, second class lower, third class with very good work experience can't get direct entry or can't get entry with a pre-masters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Alexander. That was amazing. Can I please go to the next slide? I think okay. So this is the application process. Application will be handled by our agent Study Now. Wherever it is that you're based, Study Now will be able to support you with your application. But I'll just generally mention that the documents that you need. So every student definitely needs a passport. So we are not going to give you an offer letter until you have a passport. So submit your passport and your academic documents to the Study Now team, and they will be able to submit the application for you. Remember, they will submit your application with your details. So you will get direct communication from the university. You'll get your offer directly via email, whichever destination you're coming from. I can see on the comments, most of the people here are from West Africa. If you're coming from West Africa, you will possibly also get a call from Alexander or an email from him, and he will be able to support you through the entire journey. So as long as you meet the entry requirements, we'll be able to provide you an offer letter. So academic documents are very important. CV is a non-negotiable for master's applications, and make sure that all your entire experience is recorded. And then for undergraduate, we need your high school diploma, high school certificates. I mean, sometimes it does take time for you to get your final certificate. So we also accept these, especially for undergraduate. We accept your result slip. As long as they can be verified, there's a verification token that you send to us. Once we verify them, we will be able to give you the final offer if your final certificate is not out. And this applies also for East Africa. So the next slide, I believe, is about visa. Okay, so I did speak about our career support that we give to our students. So this is just some of them. Obviously, when you go to Germany, it's a whole new continent, a whole new country. You're trying to figure out how do I even, create a CV that's good enough for the job market. So we do support you with this. We have an open door policy for our career department, and you can always knock on their door and book an appointment with them, and they'll give you even coaching for interviews if you have an interview lined up. We also work with an exclusive job platform called Handshake for our Gisma students, whereby jobs are advertised. Our partner companies usually upload job opportunities on Handshake first, to be applied to Gisma University students before they can go to the public. So these are just, after the extra support services that we give to our students, and you always have access to this even after you graduate. So that's a good addition. Next slide. Please, let's go to the next slide. It's about the visa checklist. I know everybody here is just generally curious about visa and the checklist, the blocked account. Also, another question that will one day blow up my mind. But really, the blocked account, first of all, in most of all the other destinations, they usually ask for bank statements, proof of living expenses. So that is exactly what the blocked account is for. One of the things that you need to show to prove that you're a legit student is that you can actually meet your living expenses, at least for the first year of study. So we are looking at, it's usually around 11,908 or 904, if I'm not wrong. So this is the amount that you need to put in the blocked account. The reason why it's called blocked is the entire time when you're processing your visa, this money cannot be moved. And if it's moved, it may affect your visa decision. Those of us, I'll speak about East Africa, and then Alexander will also speak about West when it comes to visa. If you're coming from any of the country in East or South, you do need the full amount of your blocked account, and you also need your full first year of school fees. So if you pay your full first year of school fees, the university is going to provide you with a letter of enrollment and a visa support letter. Those are the two documents that you need from the school for you to be able to now go to the consular portal, open an account, upload your documents, and wait to get an embassy appointment. Okay, so I know that one of the best things about working with Study Now is that they do have visa experts who will be able to guide you through this process. So you can really rely on them to support you in the visa application process. But generally, when you're budgeting, budget for your first year of school fees and your first year of living expenses. In addition to that, of course, you also need a health insurance. So the good thing with Germany, the health insurance is usually part of the blocked account. So the moment you purchase the blocked account, you'll also get a health insurance confirmation. And for those of us who are above the age of 30, you're advised to get a private health insurance. If you're below 30, you should get a public health insurance. Those documents and now your academic documents all together are the documents that usually are considered when you're applying for your visa. I want to just specifically mention the importance of your motivational letter. So you do need to actually prove that you are a genuine student in your motivation letter. So why did you choose to take this computer science program at Gisma University in Germany? Why? Why not in your home country? So really do your research. The university has a lot of information on the website. If you'd like even to get the program units, the different units that will be taught in your entire program, you can always get these from either myself, Study Now, or even Alexander. Make sure by the time you're reporting for your interview, you have a clear understanding of what your program is, the pathway it takes you to. This is very important because it really determines whether you get a visa or not. For Germany, for students coming from East and South, we do not need APS certificates. All you need is just your academic documents, your blocked account, your health insurance, your very strong motivational letter, and then you will be able to get your visa. So the waiting time for East and South is somewhere between 2 weeks to 2 months. So the earlier you apply for your visa, the faster you also get your visa. So make sure that you apply your visa. You apply ahead of time. For example, those of us who want to join our July intake, and I hope most of you here will apply for a July intake, this is when you need to be already submitting your visa. If you want to join September, this is the best time to start, right? So start early so that you can have enough time to process your visa. So I will, I think, pass it to Alexander to also mention visa documents if any extra ones are needed for students coming in from West Africa.
All right, thank you, Mercy. So the visa documents for West Africa is virtually the same as that of the East and the South. The only difference here is that in West Africa, you also need to present a bank statement to as well for your tuition. So West Africa, most of the time, the consulates accept that the student pays the deposit and proves the evidence of the rest of the tuition in a bank statement. So aside all the documents that my colleague Mercy has spoken about, the student will have to present, I must stress this, a verifiable bank statement. Please, the bank statement should be verifiable because the consulate is going to call your bank to verify the existence of the funds in the bank statement. Now, the team are studying now, they are very good. They will tell you what to do with the bank statements, but normally I highly discourage block sum deposits. So let's say you are coming to submit your visa application next week, and this week you deposit 13 or 20, 30,000 euros into your account at once. It's a huge red flag. So I highly discourage against that practice. So aside your blog account, aside your letter of motivation, aside your academic documents, you need to also submit a bank statement. You need to also submit a CV for West Africa if you are working. If the applicant is working, you must submit a CV and also a recommendation letter from your employer. It's very important. So you need to submit a CV and a recommendation letter from your employer. Now, there's one thing. Mercy in her earlier presentation said that Germany has the lowest cost of living and also one of the highest remuneration for workers because your living expenses in Germany, you are going to earn around 13 euros per hour. That's the minimum wage. And no one who is a master student is going to Germany to earn minimum wage. I must stress that if you at least have your first degree, you are definitely going to earn above minimum wage. So let's peg it at minimum wage. That is 13 euros per hour. If you are working for a month, that is over 1,000 euros per month. That is even more than your block account amounts for that month. Now, here is the trick. Because a lot of students work and study at the same time, most of them end their block accounts. They end up relying on the salaries they earn whilst they are working. And I have students who don't even touch the block accounts because they are earning whilst they are working. Then they use the block account as proof of funds to bring in their dependent. So that is one thing that people don't really know about Germany. So Germany says, prove to me that you can take care of yourself for at least a year and come for your visa. The block account confirms that the student, first of all, is genuine. So you have the genuine funds, you have the funds genuinely available to take care of yourself. So you need to have that block account for at least stand the chance to also rely on your salary and not even touch your block account at all. That's a huge benefit that you are going to get when you are studying in Germany. So get your block account ready, get your academic documents, get your CV, get a recommendation letter at least from your employer. Then we can go ahead and apply for your visa. The wait list for West Africa can be between 3 to 6 months. That is the wait list for West Africa has some of the great, but good news for my folks in Nigeria, because now VFS is handling the German visa applications. So the likelihood that you will not even go for an in-person interview is very high, because VFS does not conduct interviews. They just collect your documents and capture your biometrics. So VFS is handling your applications now, just that the consulate is handling the online document submission. They will verify everything. Then they will send you an email to go to VFX to have your biometrics captured and have your documents, your original documents also submitted to as well. You might not even have to go through an interview, just like the students in Ghana go through. So that's a huge news for students coming from Nigeria. So your wait list is also going to reduce once now VFS is handling your visa application now. That also means your wait list, your wait time is also going to reduce significantly. So that's one good news coming from Nigeria. So if you want to, Mercy said something profound. If you want to study in July, it means your application must go in on time. But the advantage that we have at Gisma is we have what we call the rolling intakes every year. So we have 4 intakes in a year. So even if you want to study in July and by July you don't have your visa, we can easily move your intake to the next intake, which is September, for you to also get your visa on time and join your colleagues on campus. So that's the good news that Gisma has for you, because we have 4 intakes in a year for you. So at any point in time, you can choose to start your class at any point in time. I hope that is clear enough.
Okay, thanks, Alexander. I think that's very clear. I don't know, my presentation is over. This was the last slide. I can hand it over to the Study Now team, and I think we can do Q&A, or they can guide us.
Hi, Mercy and Alexander. Thank you so much for your presentation. So before we move over to the Q&A session, I just want to let everyone know how they can, start their journey with Study Now. So you can start your journey with Study Now by visiting our website, which is www.studynow.org.uk, and then register your interest. Or you can visit one of our social media handles and click on the bio, and then you can also register from there. Once you register, a member of our reach out to you either via mail or WhatsApp, so they can guide you through your entire process from selecting your program to your arrival and enrollment in Germany. All right, so Mercy, I've had so many questions online, both here and IG and also YouTube. So I would start with I think the one that has been going all around, which is, what are the pathways for HND and GCSE holders? That is HND or WAEC or KCSE holders.
Okay, so GCSE is not an acceptable pathway. In Germany, in general, generally you need A-levels. So if you're coming from a Cambridge curriculum, we need a minimum year 13. For those of you who are coming from East Africa, unfortunately, we do not recognize HNDs at all. So you must have the high school, you must meet the local high school curriculum entry requirements. So if you're coming from Kenya, for example, you need KCSE and not a diploma. Okay, so even if you did KCSE, maybe you failed and you went ahead and did a diploma, we will still not be accepting the diploma. The core to application and the core to us accepting you at Gisma is always your high school grades. So you need to meet the minimum high school requirements at the highest level. So you must go to the highest level of your curriculum so that we can be able to accept you. I am not very sure if Alexander accepts HNDs as an entry for bachelors.
Yeah, so that's a major difference between the East and the West. So in West Africa, we accept the HND for the bachelors. So that's one good news for my Ghanaian and Nigerian students. So we accept the HND for a bachelor's education, and the bachelor's will also be a direct entry. It's going to be a direct entry to year 1 without foundation. But there is a caveat here. So if you did management for your HND, that means when we are giving you the admission into the bachelor's, it's going to be a management related program. So let's say you did HND marketing. So if we are giving you a bachelor's admission, we cannot admit you to BSc Computer Science or BSc Software Engineering. We have to admit you to a program that has a direct correlation to the HND program that you did. So we have to admit you to BSc Business Management Marketing. If you did accounting, we have to admit you to BSc Business Management Finance. That is the caveat involved here. The West also accepts GSEs. Germany also accepts GSEs for students coming from the West. So we accept the GSE A level. So you must have, if you are coming in for the tech-related programs, the important caveat here is if you are coming in for a tech-related program, you must have a pass in mathematics, you must have a pass in science. You must have a pass in mathematics and science if you are coming in for our tech-related program. But if you are coming in for our management-related programs, you must have a pass in mathematics. But if it's a tech-related program, you must have a pass in both mathematics and science before your GCEs can be considered.
Thank you, Alexander. Sorry, I had some network issues, but I think that has been resolved. So the next question is there a mandatory interview as part of the admission processes for all programs?
So this depends on your background. So any students coming in from bachelor, and I believe this is the same as WAEC as well. So this is how it's done. How to know if you will do an interview is if you're coming from a curriculum that is only 12 years. So if you only have 12 years, if your local curriculum is only 12 years, in most cases, you can either choose to start with foundation or do the admissions test. So you have those two pathways. My encouragement for you is that you attempt the test because it saves you a whole 6 months foundation, and it does save you some good amount of money. So be confident enough that you'll be able to pass the test. It's just like an SAT where you do the math part, the grammar, and the writing part. And it's an online test. It's also free of charge. We do not charge it. And your results will be available in about 3 days. So that is the response to that. But if your curriculum is 13 years, a good example is Uganda. We have British curriculum. Then we will accept you for direct entry. And this is because Germany's degrees are not 4 years, they're 3 years. So if you're coming from 12 years, then they do not consider you to be good enough for direct entry into university. That is why we always either have an assessment test or the 6-month foundation.
Okay, thank you, Mercy. And the next one is, are students required to translate or legalize their academic documents into German before applying?
No. So the documents, first of all, okay, sorry, because I think we can have some countries that are French speaking. So if your documents are not in English, in most cases you do need the original and the English translated. So that is the only time that we need you to translate your documents. Otherwise, if your documents are already in English, that's okay. We do not need to then translate them into German. The other thing is certification. We do not need that. From my side, Alexander, you can clarify that for West Africa, but we also don't really need you to formalize the documents.
No, we don't need any documents.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you, Mercy and Alexander. And what are the English language requirements? I know you mentioned this earlier on, but then just to
We
clarify
don't
the
need
audience, what are the English
documents
requirements?
formalization.
English requirements are also as depending on the curriculum that you pursued. So for those students who are here and they're coming from Kenya, unfortunately, everybody has to do the English test. So the good thing at Gisma is that we have the free English test that is accepted at the embassy. So you do not need to pay for IELTS, you do not need to pay for PT, for Duolingo. You can do our free online test, especially for those who are doing masters. And then if you already have IELTS requirements are 6.0 and 5.5 minimum in all components, okay? If you have Duolingo, we also accept it. It's 100 overall, and 100 also in all components. The only component that we give an exemption is production, which can actually be 90. But other than that, English is a very important part of our enrollment process.
Okay, thank you. And over to the fees and financials. Someone said, what is the minimum initial deposit required to secure
Yeah,
admission
yeah.
to Gisma?
Yeah, actually, I did not mention that, but our deposit is 1,500 euros only for all programs.
Okay, thank you. And
Please
are there,
let me cut in here. The deposit for Nigeria is 3,000 euros. It's not
Sorry.
1,500. The 1,500 is for all countries except Nigeria. Nigeria is
okay,
3,000 euros.
thank you, Alexander. Okay, and is there a flexible tuition fee payment plan?
Yes,
Uh,
there is a flexible. I think Mercy in her presentation spoke about the installment plan. So from West Africa, you can choose to pay your deposit. Then when you arrive on campus, you pay the rest of your fees in up to 10 equal installments month. So whilst you are working, you are paying your fees in equal installments. But again, there is a caveat here because if you are able to pay your first year tuition in full before visa application, it increases your visa approval rate. That is the caveat here for West Africa. If you're able to pay your first year tuition in full, that will mean in even applying for your visa, you will not need to submit any bank statements because you've already cleared your first year tuition in full. But if you've not paid your first year tuition info, you need to submit a bank statement in addition to your block account. But you can also choose to pay the tuition deposit of 1,500 euros or 3,000 euros in respect to Nigeria. And when you arrive on campus, you pay the rest of your tuition in up to 10 equal installments. But you need to provide a verifiable bank statement that the consulate can be able to verify that you have the funds to pay the rest of your tuition when you arrive in Germany.
Okay. Thank you, Alexander. So just to go back to the English proficiency, if someone has a WAEC result and they made like a C6 or a C5, and they also studied in Nigeria, do you accept an English proficiency
Uh,
certificate?
Yes, so Germany does not accept medium of instruction letters in place of proficiency certificates. So I think there is a confusion here. The letter given to you from your school is called a medium of instruction letter. That only certifies that you took your program in English. That is different from an English proficiency certificate. That's why at Gisma we have the free English test. And I think from us, the students hear the test and we get scared because we think it's difficult. Trust me, it's very easy, very simple grammar, very easy. So what I can do is normally I share sample questions with my students to go through even before they write the exams. So we can give your students some sample questions for them to go through. It's very easy to pass. No students coming from an English, as far as you can speak English, you can easily write that, take that test and pass. And the proficiency certificate.
Sorry, I think Alexander, we
Yeah,
lost you.
I think he got cut
Yeah,
off.
but
Okay, so let
yeah,
me just go
everybody
ahead with
has
the
to do the
questions.
test. Okay.
Yes. Okay. In terms of the refund policy, in the event of a visa refusal, what is the refund policy from Gisma?
Yeah. So we do refund in case of a visa rejection. We also refund your tuition fee deposit in the point where before enrollment you withdraw, because in some cases, because of a few reasons here and there, you decide that you will not be joining. So you can also, you'll still get your refund. However, we always charge an administration fee of a certain amount depending on the situation. So for visa rejections, we fully refund. But if you just withdraw, depending on the reasons for withdrawal, we could charge an admission fee on the deposit.
Okay, thank you. And someone asked on the chat here, does the university provide guidance on opening a blocked account, and
Mm.
how many months do I need to have the block account for?
Okay, so first of all, the blocked account is an account that is operated from German banks. Okay, so you open the blocked account. We do have specific providers that we work with, or rather that we recommend. We don't really work with them directly. So we have a popular one, Expatrio, which is the most recommended one, or Fintiba. Expatrio, in my opinion, is the best. So you open the account and you transfer the 11,904 euros from your account to this blocked account. You need to have this blocked account confirmation by the time you're uploading your documents for verification at the consular portal. So how many months in advance do you need this? You just need this by the time you're uploading your visa documents, because in Germany, this is the most important visa document. They will not check anything else if you do not have the blocked account here. And yeah, I think that the bank is, it's not a Nigerian bank, it's an offshore account that you open. And then when you go to Germany, you will be receiving the money per month.
Okay, thank you, Mercy. Someone also said, please, for someone with the third class in electrical engineering, can I apply for an MSc in computer science and software engineering?
This is not advisable actually, and mainly because of your visa. Okay, because remember your motivational letter, especially for master's student, it always has to show a connection between your first degree and your master's degree. So the reason why you will not be applying here is because of your first degree, and it poses a visa risk. So no, unless you have gathered some software degree diplomas and you also have extensive work experience in tech that can be used in your motivational letter to show why then do you want to do a master's in tech. So this will be a visa risk. I will not advise that.
Okay, and someone from Instagram said, about the visa timing. When is the best time to apply for a German student visa?
So this is a very interesting question because every country is different. So I would also love to know the country the student is coming from, because if you're lucky enough to be born and to be a passport holder of Rwanda, for example, the visa is out in 2 weeks. In Zimbabwe, it's out in 3 days, but in Ghana, Nigeria, you have to wait sometimes 6 months, sometimes 8 months. So it really depends on the country that you're coming from. So you just ask the Study Now team and they'll be able to give you the right guidance on this.
Okay, thank you so much, Mercy. Another question is, what kind of accommodation options are available for international students in both early and
Amazing.
postdoc?
That's a good question that we actually did not speak about, but one of the best things about Gisma, we are one of the very few universities in Berlin that actually have accommodation. So we do have accommodation. It's off the campus, however, but the prices for accommodation range between 399 euros per month for a it's a room where you share 4 people, all the way to around 799 euros, depending on the kind of the room. So we have that option. If you miss out on the school options, you can always reach out to either myself or Alexander. We have a very big community of African students who are already moved and settled in either Berlin or Potsdam that can share accommodation options. For East Africa, for example, we have an online group, a WhatsApp group. Once you get your visa, you can always ask for accommodation support from our current students, and they're very, very happy to support you.
Thank you, Mercy. And in terms of accommodation, someone said, how do I get an accommodation certificate for my visa application?
This one you have to actually confirm with the university that you can pay the accommodation from the university. That's the most advised one, because then in case of a refund, in case of any problem, you are dealing with the school, so you will get a refund. So what I don't usually advise is for students to just go to random platforms and pay and get the accommodation confirmation. So use the school accommodation confirmation process for you to get. You can just pay for the first month and the school will be able to give you the confirmation for your application of visa.
And one more question in terms of career is what are the part-time work opportunities for students during their studies, and what are the post-study work permit options for after graduation?
Yeah. So for part-time work, students, if you're a bachelor student, in most cases you will be able to find a bit more unskilled jobs. So we are speaking of delivery jobs, waitressing, barista, such kind of jobs. But the more the skill you gain, especially master students, most of them usually just end up finding skilled part-time jobs from their fields of study. So there is that, because remember, Germany is having a skilled labor problem shortage. So master students benefit from that. And in terms of post-study permits, so I had mentioned that the pathway is usually just one for all students, regardless of the program that you have done. So once you graduate, you can apply for an 18-month post-study work visa, which is quote unquote a job seeker's visa. This is the visa that you're supposed to be using to look for work. When you find work, then you go to immigration with your contract and apply for a work permit. Now you have to work and live in Germany for 3 to 5 years for you to be able to qualify to apply for a permanent residency. Okay, so the study years will not count. What counts is from the time where you started formal employment in Germany, contributing towards your application to the permanent residency. I hope that's clear. So just make sure that when you're choosing to study in Germany, you choose one of those very popular programs in the German job market. So please, is the blocked account different from the bank account statement for Nigerians? Yes, it's different, as we've mentioned. I think Theo has dropped, so I just read the comment. It's definitely different. The blocked account is not a bank statement. The blocked account, you have to transfer the money in the blocked account and then get the blocked account confirmation, which you use as proof of that you can meet your living expenses for the first year. So it's used in place of what other countries like the UK ask for the bank statement. Yeah.
All right, Messi. Thank you so much. And I do have this question. I think this will be a personal question from me. I've had so many students asking me this. Can I apply for visa for my wife and my children when applying for my own visa? If I can, or if I can't,
Yeah.
when is the best time to apply for my family?
Yes. So this is a good question that we also missed out on. So if you look at the German embassy websites for your respective country, you will find a dependent visa category. Okay. So the reason why I'm mentioning the German embassy website is because every country is different. Every other country is different. So you need to go to the website and check. So yes, generally you can carry your spouse or your immediate family, that is your children, with you as a student. So you're dependent. There are two ways in which you can do this. You can apply for a dependent visa alongside your student visa. Or you can apply for what is called the family reunification visa. In my experience, working as a German study abroad representative, this is the best way to carry your dependents. Because if you apply for the dependent visa and the student visa all together, if you look at the requirements, they are almost double what the family reunification visa requires. The dependent visa alongside your student visa also really delays your student visa because there are so many checks they have to carry on. But if you apply for the family reunification visa, and what is this really? It's when you're a student, you've gotten your visa, you've traveled, you've settled down, you've possibly gotten a part-time job. Around month 4, month 5, you've written a letter of, like invitation letter and sent it to your dependent, which they use now to apply for the family reunification visa. The best thing about the family reunification visa is that now it's treated as an independent visa, right? So it's not delaying the student visa. So that's a good thing. And the other thing is that it actually is approved also faster compared to when you apply to the dependent visa together with a German student visa. And dependents spouses can work full-time in Germany if you follow either your spouse. Yes, definitely it's your spouse. And the biggest rule here is that you have to have been married for minimum 1 year. So legally married for minimum 1 year. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Messi. Someone on the chat said they want clarification. Do we need a blocked account and also a Nigerian bank account?
Okay, I think this blocked account is really confusing people. So I'm gonna just use a very brief example. Sometimes when you're, say for example, you're just a working class person, you can open a fixed bank account where you put your savings, and you have another account, which is a current account, which is where you now transact, right? Think about the blocked account as this fixed account where you just deposit money, but you can only access it at a certain time. I hope that is a bit more clear. But the caveat here for blocked account, it is operated by the German bank. So the blocked account providers will give you account details to their banks in Germany. So what this means is that when you're in Germany, you also need your own personal German bank account to be able to now withdraw money from your blocked account to your bank account. So your Nigerian bank account has nothing to do with this. The only part it plays is that you do need, as Alexander mentioned, for some countries, you will be asked for a bank statement in addition to the blocked account that shows that you can continue to pay your school fees. So remember, the blocked account covers your living expenses. So in some instances, you'll be asked for a bank account just to show that you can still pay your student fees when you're in Germany. So I hope that's clear now.
Thank you, Messi. Thank you, Messi. I think Alexander is not here. I think we are now at the end of this our webinar session. So thank you to Messi and Alexander for their detailed presentation, and thank you to the audience for their brilliant questions. We know moving to a new country is a life-changing sessional experience, and we hope today's session has provided the clarity you need to move forward. And remember, we at Study Now, we are here to assist you in every step of your journey, and we look forward to accepting applications from everyone. All you have to do is just go to www.studynow.org.uk, or you go to one of our social media handles and click on the link on our bio, and someone from the Study Now team will reach out to you either by WhatsApp or through your mail, and then they will discuss, how they can assist you with your journey to study in Germany. So thank you once more to Messi and also to Alexander.
All right. Thank you so much, Theo. And just to clarify, I'm sorry to take this back. I just saw the comment, but really, yes. So a blocked account is a proof of living expenses. The bank statement supports that you can pay the remaining school fees if you've not cleared your first year of fees. So the best thing, if you do not need to present bank statements, is to clear your first year of fee so that you can only show that you paid via the confirmation from the university and the blocked account, which covers your living expenses. That just closes, and thank you so much, Theo, and the entire Study Now team for organizing this.
Thank you so much, Messi. You have a wonderful day.
Hi everyone, this is Walid from Edge Hill University. I'm here today in Lagos to do the study experience.
This is Nick Miller from the University of West London.
It's been an amazing day, always with our partner Study Now, who's been doing a great job, so I thank them for that.
We have management, we have international business, we have nursing, and we attend top class.
Hi everyone, my name is Peace and I am so excited I got to be here today. I've had meaningful conversations with people. I've been more exposed to everything I needed to know about living in Nigeria and studying outside Nigeria. It's been a very wonderful experience and I look forward to what we can do together with that. Also, I cannot wait to see what this leads for me, where this leads me, where this leads every other person that attended this event today. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for insightful knowledge we've been able to get today. Thank you for doing this for the Nigerian youth. We are grateful. Thank you so much.
Hi guys. So I just finished my section here in Study Now and it's been an amazing experience. I was opportunity to talk to a couple of schools and they gave me insights on the packages, the payment plan, even advice on courses that I can do. It's been an amazing experience in total. I look forward to applying and hopefully by September I get admitted into a school.
The experience by studying now here in Lagos was an impactful one. I had a nice time. There were lots of stands I could go and ask questions, get clarity on things I was confused about. So I now know what I want to do.
Information is key. Forget money. Information is key.